Hello guys, and welcome to part 3 of a 3-part tutorial series that I'm putting together for making a modern bathroom in Blender 2.9. So if you haven't already seen part 1 and 2, definitely go check it out on my channel. But this over here is going to be just me showing you how to set up some basic lens distortion and also just correcting a few little things that I forgot to mention on part 2. So let's just get into this, and it won't be too long before you have a nice final render. Okay, so something I forgot to do in part 2 was to actually add an emissive material to the rim at the top here. So let's just quickly do that before we get started with our compositing. So let's just select the bathroom itself, tab into edit mode, and let's just go to our face select option here. We're going to go Shift Alt, click on this corner here with Shift Alt holding them in, and that's going to just loop select these faces here. Go to your materials tab, and we already have the walls material that we created in part 2. We're just going to hit the little plus here, go new and assign. So we assign this new material. Let's just call it lights. You can call it whatever. And we're just going to come here to our surface and make it an emissive material. So just click emission. You can also just come over here and go Shift A, search, and get an emission shader and just plug it into the surface here. So there's two ways you can do that. And you're going to come here, just increase the strength to 5. And under our render settings, like I did in part 2, we did enable the bloom over here. So if you haven't done that, just make sure to enable bloom. So now if you go into your camera view and you hit Z and you go rendered, we're going to see this nice rim lighting over here. So now we can see it coming through here. And you can increase the strength as much as you need to. So I would recommend not going anything higher than 12. So I'm just going to set it to 12. And I'm just going to make the light a little bit warmer here. And the reason we want to make it warmer, you don't want a cold light. It just doesn't make it look like a very inviting bathroom environment. So you just want something that's more slightly on a warmer note here, just to kind of give it that kind of warm feeling. Might just bring it down to 9 even here. Now I'm just going to select the walls here quickly. So just go to your materials tab, just that wall material we made in part 2. I'm just actually going to come here to the roughness map. I'm going to go Shift A, search, and get a color ramp node and just put it in between the concrete floor roughness map and the roughness input here. And then we can just drag these sliders here. So I'm going to drag the white value slider down just a little bit, just to decrease that extreme reflectiveness that we're getting there. So just bringing that down even a bit more. I just feel like it's a little bit too reflective. So just something like that looks a lot better. Okay, so now that we have the materials fully out of the way now, let's quickly give this another render. So in fact, just go back to your render settings. Let's just take the render samples here, and let's just make it something like 250. Okay, so just 250 samples. And you can do the same with the viewport, doesn't really matter. So we're going to go to the render here, go to render, and then render image. So let's just wait till we get a render going here. So it's going to take a little bit longer here because we set the sample amount up, but it'll give us a little bit better quality of a quality render here. Okay, so here we have it. You can see it looks a lot cleaner. It looks really nice. So this is actually a pretty good render. But what we're going to do now is just quickly jump into our compositor and just do some really basic compositing. So let's just go over here, just close this guy down. It should still be in our cache here somewhere. So let's just go to our compositing, and we're going to make sure to click on use nodes after we've done a render. And you're not going to be seeing anything here, so you just need to go Shift A, search, and get a viewer node. So just type in viewer, get the viewer node, and then just drag the image into the viewer here. And now you can see it back here. And if you want to zoom out, you can hit the V key. If you want to zoom in, you can hit Alt V to zoom in like this. If you want to zoom in and out of the nodes, you just do it as normal, like we do with our node compositor. So just something like that. So I'm just going to zoom back, hitting the V key till we see the whole image here. And let's go Shift A, search, and we're going to get a lens distortion. So once you've got your lens distortion node, just take the image of the composite here, plug it into the image up here in the lens distortion, then take this image socket and the lens distortion and make sure to plug it into both of the composite and the viewer. If you only plug it into the composite, it'll do it in when you render it, it'll composite it, but you won't see it here in the viewport here, the viewers. That's why you need to plug it into both the viewer and the composite. So let's come over here to the distort here, and we're going to make it 0.02. And that's going to kind of give it that warped look like a camera would in real life because it has a curved lens. If you click on fit here, it'll just fit it to a camera. So now we have a little bit of distortion here. Just gives it a little bit more realism. And then we're going to come here to the dispersion, and we're going to make it 0.02 as well. And you're going to see it kind of gives a little bit of dispersion here on the outsides. Just kind of gives it a little bit of extra imperfection, which adds a little bit of extra realism. In fact, if you zoom in, so let's just zoom in here quickly, you can see there what's happening here. In fact, if we bring that down to 0, you can see the difference. Bring it up. Okay, that's way too much. Maybe just 0.01 even. Just a little bit like that. And there we have it. So now just that little detail there has just added some extra realism to the scene. So that's as far as I'm going to go with compositing here. You could render some different passes over here. You can enable some different, if you go over here to passes, you can enable different passes here. You can do like a mist pass or normal pass, all sorts of things here, ambient occlusion pass, environment pass. But I'm not going to do it in this tutorial. I don't think it's necessary for the scene. But yeah, that's pretty much what we have here for a final result. So let's just quickly go render image, and let's just see what that looks like. And there we have it. That is our render. And you can see it's now applied that composited effect as well to our render here. So you can just go image, save as, and just save it wherever, your desktop, wherever you prefer. So that is how to make a modern bathroom in Blender. And you can definitely go ahead and get some different assets and things, add them in here, add some towel holders, maybe some ornamental statues or figures, whatever, just something to make it look like a bathroom that isn't hyper minimalistic. Obviously you do want it to kind of have a bit of a lived in kind of feel. So I hope you guys are able to make something really awesome. I hope you've enjoyed this 3-part tutorial series. So if you haven't already seen part 1 and 2, just obviously go to my channel, check them out. And I'm looking forward to seeing what you guys share on Instagram and stuff like that. So stay safe out there, enjoy your week, and keep making cool stuff with Blender.